Hi everyone, welcome to AegSphere's kitchen. I've never made a cooking video before, but I'm gonna try. So I decided that I'm gonna make some spicy noodles today because I'm hungry. And I'll probably, maybe, record the preparation for dinner too. Right now it's about 13:33, so that means lunchtime. Let me just get everything out real quick. Now unfortunately my tripod isn't very tall, so I can't really show too many things, from a top-down view. But first things first, we gotta get water to boil the noodles. So while this goes, I got myself a cutting board out already, and now I'm just gonna get the vegetables real quick. That's, if I can find them all. I don't know where they are. But we just need a little bit of water in here. I'm going to fill it approximately halfway because I'm just going to be steaming the vegetables. Let me get a colander real quick so I can stick it atop. Okay, got it out. Yeah, that's enough water. Just over halfway. Alright. My cats are meowing as they usually do. Okay. Vegetables. Alright, so I've already washed the vegetables. We're going to start boiling the water on low heat, just so it'll start boiling by the time we're done cutting the vegetables. I'm going to start cutting them now. So, like I said, I've already washed them, so we're not going to use too much. I'm not going to use this entire, what even is this, zucchini or squash. We're just going to have a few thick slices like that. We can put that back in the fridge. We're also going to have a lot of broccolini. Again, cut into small, very small pieces. I like to have the florets kind of all, tiny pieces, because then it really easily mixes in with the rest of the food. The reason why I'm not, making too much is that this is going to be only a pretty small portion. Also, these I might as well dice because, for the same reason, I like the food to be kind of well integrated. Guess you could even say homogenized, but I'm not gonna blend anything, so probably not homogenized. You get the idea. I like the food to mix together really well without pieces that are too big. Keep in mind, I'm no professional chef, so my techniques and even recipes probably are not the best. However, I do enjoy cooking whenever I do, and I am trying to learn new ways of doing things, so if you have any recipes you suggest, then if I end up posting this, please let me know in the comments. Now, I normally use green onion, but we only have leeks at the moment, so I'm just going to be using some of that and not the entire massive leek. And we're also, again, going to cut these into very small pieces. Since I'm nearly done cutting it, actually, I'll turn up the temperature on the stove quite a bit so the water can get boiling a little faster. Because once we have the vegetables steamed, there honestly isn't much left for us to do besides boil the noodles. And I prefer to use rice noodles for this recipe, and those are really, they cook like instantly. They cook really fast. Well, there we go. We have the vegetables ready. Now we just wait a little bit for the water to warm up. So while the water's boiling, what I normally like to do is to start preparing the sauce. So normally I also include some sesame oil along with the organic soy sauce, general Tsao fry sauce, Szechuan sauce, and rice vinegar, and some garlic cloves. But from what I can tell, I think we are out of sesame oil, so we'll just do it without. I like to grind 1 or 2 cloves of garlic because food is just incomplete without garlic in my opinion, and I don't really know if I can go a day without eating garlic because it's just that good, in my personal opinion. Anyway, doesn't have to be perfect, just mostly ground. If there's chunks in there, I don't really mind. There we go, that's 1 piece done. Now let's just do the other real quick, and then you can just scoop the rest out and put it down there. There we go, that's basically it. Alright, so while I was getting the sauce ready, what happened is it started, lightly boiling. That's enough for me to start the steaming process, so I'm going to put all of my vegetables in there as best as I can. Now I know you're supposed to normally steam different vegetables for a different amount of time based on how hard they are or whatever, but it tends to work out well enough like this most of the time. Let's just get the small pieces that spilled off, and now that it's in there, I'll put the lid on it, and we'll just leave them steaming in there for, I don't know, I'll check on them 5 minutes in, and we'll see. Anyway, back to the sauce. The main portion of the sauce is comprised of this spicy Szechuan sauce. I really like it, but yes, it is indeed quite a bit spicy. I normally like to put a fair amount. I know I work in a lab and I'm supposed to, measure things out on a daily basis, but for this sauce, I think it's best if we don't, because it's always slightly different. Then I put in still a fairly large quantity, but not as much, the General Tsao sauce to give it a little bit of sweetness. Let's get that off. Just a splash of soy sauce, because I don't really like things to be salty all too much, and a little bit of rice vinegar to give it a bit of sourness. Now we just stir it together as best as we can with a fork, and try not to spill it like I just did there. Normally I'm a little closer to the counter. I have a tripod with a camera on it in front of me, so that kind of limits my range, but let me taste test it. Yep, I'd say that's pretty good. Moving back to the boiling, I'm going to get some silicone tongs and just kind of stir it to make sure. And it's hard to see, but the broccoli is indeed looking greener here. You see, the broccoli is looking a lot more vibrant, and it's getting softer, which is what we want. I'll just leave them in for a little bit more, and then when the water boils a bit more, I might as well turn up the temperature slightly so the water starts boiling a bit faster, and then I'll get the noodles ready. Now that the vegetables are effectively done, all I'm going to do is pour them out into a bowl. It's okay if not all of them fall in. I can just use the tongs to help them out. And I'll put the noodles on top of these when they're done. And I'm going to use the same strainer because there's no point in getting unnecessary dishes wet. The water is boiling a bit harder than it was earlier, which is what we want. So let's just do about this much rice noodles. No, it's not the best viewing angle, but this is the only tripod I have. So we're gonna put them in like that for a bit, and then they kind of just start to sink in, but I give them a little bit of help. And now we can just cook them for a little bit. Off the top of my head, I kind of just do a little bit of a taste test, texture test to see what they, what they like. So the noodles themselves, I'm not sure exactly what brand it is because it's all written in Mandarin, but it's these. I get them from my local international market, so they're very good. I really like them. Let me just put these away. And while those are boiling, one of my friends suggested that I make a recipe showing how I make Thai tea at home. Unfortunately, the one time I'm recording myself drinking it, it's not my recipe, it's a store-bought one, but I do have some more of the one I made in the fridge. I just already drank some today, so I wanted to mix it up a bit and drink a different one. Anyway, time to check on the noodles again. I like to cool the noodles off by spinning it like this, even though it splashes a little. I might not be the world's cleanest cook, but no, these are still kind of firm to the touch, so I need to cook them a little more. And we'll just leave them in for a little bit more. I'll resume the video when they're done. Alright, so now that the noodles are done, the way I normally strain things is, well, first I turn on the cold water because our pipes are not made to handle hot water, and then, well, I mean, simple as you would think, you just kind of pour them into the strainer. And then, what I like to do is I like to give them a rinse with cold water, especially if they're unsalted, because that stops the cooking process. And then, I just, make sure, get rid of as much water as I can. And now we're ready to put them in the bowl. And there we go. All the noodles. Cool. And now we are ready to add the sauce. Hopefully there's enough. Normally, I tend to eyeball it, and it tends to be. I think it's enough. Just have to make sure I get as much of it as I can. Yeah, I think... Oh yeah, another thing that I do sometimes I forget to do it, is, if I want to get the rest of the sauce, I can just put some noodles and use them like a sponge. And yeah, there we go. Now virtually all the sauce is in there. And now I just need to give it a good stir to make sure that the noodles are evenly coated. When I make food, I tend to not do it for any, specific fancy presentation, because I'm normally making it just to eat. I don't have any social media, so I don't post any of my food. This is the first time I've ever recorded myself cooking anything, and here it is, final product. Again, it might not look as good as it tastes, but I can assure you it tastes really good, at least for my liking. Alright, well, now it's time for a taste test. Let's see how my regular spicy noodles recipe turned out. Let's get a bit of vegetables in here too. What can I say? I really like it. The sauce I made has like the perfect amount of everything. I guess I could have left the noodles in a bit longer because they're still a little on the chewier side, but they're definitely cooked. I mean, it's never exactly the same every time, but I definitely consider this a success. Well, thank you for watching, and if you're interested in more random cooking videos that may or may not always turn out as good as this, just let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.